Global commodity trading runs on structure, teamwork, relationships, and trust. At Alkagesta, the people behind every operation, every partnership, every delivery are what make the difference. Nazim Huseynov, Chartering Manager at Alkagesta Geneva, tells you how. This is the Alkagesta Way.
The strong governance is not about slowing things down. It's more about the ability of making fast decisions but keeping them calculated and under control. The key factors are the clarity. In my experience, it comes down to three key factors. It's being prepared, it's being flexible, and having strong relationships. Being prepared meaning that you've done your homework. You've got yourself additional options on loading or discharging areas. You kept your options open with multiple ship owners, ship brokers, ship agents. Those are the counterparties that will provide you with live information on a daily basis on the ground. The second step is being flexible. Flexibility is mainly the ability to adapt fast to the life circumstances on the ground. And mostly it's continuation of being prepared. Are you able to exercise on the options that you've been given? Are you able to shift your laycans? Are you able to shift your routing? And finally, something that I hold dear to myself is the strong relationships. The chartering business is mainly based on building strong relationships. And in times where the crises such as Strait of Hormuz or Bab el-Mandab occur, that's where you see the real difference between having a trusted counterparty, trusted ship owner or broker that can guide you along the way. And during such geopolitical crises, you will actually see how valuable those relationships can be. It can really make the difference between suffering commercial damages, financial damages, versus having a smooth execution of the charter party. We're bringing all the units together. We're aligning our movements because the biggest risk in the situations is not the market itself. It's more when you're not communicated and aligned, coordinated internally. And our strong governance is something that keeps us all aligned, and all the actions are taken properly and fully coordinated between all desks. From the chartering perspective, the first thing, of course, will be the availability of the ships. You will see that some owners, a lot of them actually would be hesitant to call such areas, the Strait of Hormuz, for example, as was seen earlier. That would be the main issue for us. Then, of course, you still have to face the operational problematics, where you would see that the vessels are running late for its laycans. You will see the contractual obligations. If the cargo has already been sold or it's been bought, the person has to deliver. So that would be your second pillar of the problem. And then lastly, you have your regulatory and compliance risks. If the vessel has been stranded in a security risk area, then of course we need to be aligned on these actions. We need to calculate our risk and take the right steps to mitigate the risk. At Alkagesta, we have mandates to work on behalf of the company. So when we get given requests to find and fix a vessel for specific cargo, our job is to open those doors for the company. And the company, in return, provides us with the mandate that I've mentioned and with the security that our reputation will remain intact. Well, Alkagesta is a relatively new company. It's been established in 2018. And in our very young history, as you mentioned, we went through a lot of crises already. And I think that the main factor here is the human factor. We're a family. We support each other. We come to each other's rescue, and we always remain loyal to our words. When I said earlier, I have a trust and I build relationships with my ship owners and my counterparties, the same goes for the traders, the trade finance, the risk and compliance. All the teams are uniting to protect Alkagesta, to keep us moving. Our engine is always running. And to keep that engine running in times of crisis, we put extra effort. We try to provide valuable and flexible service to our clients. And that confidence powers us to stay on and succeed.
Governance sets the pace. At Alkagesta, a solid framework is what makes seamless coordination possible across every team, every decision.
When market conditions change rapidly, there is no real separation between the teams. Mostly when these situations occur, traders, charterers and operators operate almost as a single unit. Trader might have or spot an idea or an opportunity, but it's down to us in the chartering to actually evaluate and validate it in the real world. We need to check if we have the right vessel. We need to see if we can get it safely from A to B. And we need to find out if there is going to be any additional costs involved if the situation continues to deteriorate. At the end, all of it comes down to internal communication, which is a key factor. We need to coordinate all our moves, and we need to be aligned all across the desks. Reliability is not something where you can just react quickly. It's more to do with being prepared for it. You know, before we fix the vessels, we always think to ourselves and we ask ourselves questions. Are we going to face any problems? Is there going to be any constraints? Are there going to be delays or geopolitical tensions? We try to get additional options on loading and dischargings. You know, for the company itself, Alkagesta owns and operates in multiple storages across the world. That makes us more reliable counterparty in front of our clients, in front of our partners. The transparency and communication internally is something that keeps the idea alive of moving the product from A to B, especially during the critical moments that we see in today. If the teams are not coordinated, we can have operational damages, we can have financial damages, we can have reputational damages. Reputational damages is, you know, you can build your reputation for many, many years, but you can lose it just in one go. And the biggest one of the main risks, as stated earlier, is not having your members aligned. The speed of alignment is just as important as speed of execution in these kind of situations. During these critical moments, it depends on the situation itself, but it would usually always involve the trader, the responsible behind the sale. It involves myself as the head of chartering, and typically it will be an operator covering the execution of the trade. Now, depending on the situation, if it does escalate further, you would also need to bring in the risk, you will need to bring in the compliance, you will need to bring in the trade finance. So I would say that depending on the situation, roughly between 4 to 6 people that will make a decision on how we move forward.
When the team moves as one, execution becomes a competitive advantage. And when execution is consistent, something deeper takes hold: trust. The trust that only performance can build.
That's absolutely right. Earning somebody's trust is very difficult. It takes months and years. I myself have been working in this business for over 10 years now, and I can tell you that there were people, it took more than a few years to earn their trust, but once you did, you have a feeling. You speak to those people on daily basis, on weekly basis. You understand those people. You meet them face to face. That's when you understand that that person is building the right level of relationship and trust with you. People that understand the value of the relationships, they would always tend to work in this way. You know, as I said, you know, our industry, when you look at it as a whole, it's a very big, it's a huge global industry. However, in our little world of shipping, it takes less than an hour to find out the person's details, to reach out to them. It's a very small world at the end. And once you break somebody's trust, that can turn against you in so many different ways, unimaginable. Once I agree with somebody, I keep my word. You need to explain to the trader properly, and if you do, most of the times he will agree with you. It's a relationship-built business. If I give my word to somebody, I have to keep it.
Trust is what turns performance into reputation. At Alkagesta, that reputation is the foundation of every new market, every new partnership, every step forward.
Well, it's actually amazing what Alkagesta has done since 2018. Starting as a very small independent trading house, operating in 43 countries around the world and having 700,000 cubic storage capacity always comes at a huge logistics operation. Now, the biggest part of that logistical operation is the shipping factor. Having the solutions, having the relationships in the shipping is one of the main key cores of the business. And in order to maintain such growth and enter new markets and take more storage positions, we need to have a very strong foothold in the shipping world. Well, I think what we're building here in Alkagesta is really special. When you think about our history and what we've achieved so far, the company started with 11 people, and here we are today at almost 200. We're definitely not going to stop there. We're going to continue working. We're going to continue growing. We're going to continue to provide a first-class quality service to our suppliers and receivers. We're going to continue to build our relationships all across the chain. All the departments are continually contributing towards the effort. We are truly building a big family within a small company. We're going to keep it growing and make it a success story of tomorrow.
This is what performance looks like from the inside. Expertise, execution, strong relationships, and a reputation built to last. At Alkagesta, this is how business gets done. This is the Alkagesta Way.